the breath, you can breathe in through your nose and out through pursed lips. And now when you get to the top of your next inhalation, see if you can pause and do a little mental count of 2 before going to the exhalation with a count of 4. So we're breathing in to 4, holding for 2, and breathing out to 4. Again, that's breathing in to 4, holding for 2, and breathing out to 4. After your next exhalation, let go of the counting and let go of the deepening of the breath. Just resume your natural breath. And let your eyes gently open. Raise your hands from your lap, and we'll start with some movement for the fingers. So just squeezing and extending the fingers. Noticing how your hands are working this morning. If all the fingers are working the same, or if some are working a little better than others. And then extend the fingers, and we're going to circle around the thumbs. And then the first fingers, middle fingers, ring fingers, and last fingers. Good. And then extend your arms, press out, straighten your elbows, and then we're just going to move the wrists, move at the wrists. So we're moving the hands and we're moving that at the wrists up and down. A little bit of noise in there sometimes with the wrists. And then circle around. And reverse the direction of your circles. And then let's take just the right hand and extend it out and pull back on your fingers. So you're going to pull back on all of your fingers, not your thumb though, just your fingers. Keep the elbow as straight as you can and keep the hand lower than the shoulder. So if you're bringing your arm up like this, just kind of lower it down a little bit. Breathe in, breathe out. And then release that. Bring the fingers down toward the floor, and then we're going to press on the back of the hand. So not on your fingers, but on your hand here. And as you do, once again, check in, make sure your elbow is as straight as is comfortable for you, and that your shoulder's not up here around your ear. So we're just kind of relaxing that a little bit. Breathing in, breathing out. Good. All right, release that. Just circle around at the wrist. Let's go to the other side. So we're going to take that left hand, bring it out with the fingers up, pull back on all 4 fingers. And again, straight on the elbow if you can. Hand lower than your shoulder, jaw relaxed. Yeah. Nice, slow, steady breaths. And then release that. Fingers come down. We're going to press on the back of the hand. Again, elbow straight if possible, keeping the hand a little lower than the shoulder. Breathing in, breathing out. Noticing if this feels different on this side than it does on the other. Okay, and then release that. Circle around at the wrists. Okay, let's just extend the arms with the hands, palms up, and then we're just going to tap the shoulders. So we're working a little bit on the elbows here, Elbows are a hinge joint. Wrist has all kinds of fun movement at it, but elbow, pretty much you don't want to have that kind of movement in your elbow. That would be a bad thing. Next time your fingers tap your shoulders, we're going to bring the elbows out to the sides and keep them up. So you don't want to lower them down like this. You want to keep them up just about parallel to the floor. Keep the shoulder tops down away from the ears though. And then imagine you've got 5-pound weights, one in each hand, right? So you make like a little light fist and really squeeze these muscles here in your upper arms. And we're going to extend and keep squeezing those muscles as you're extending. Keep squeezing, and as you're bending, also squeezing. So we're contracting those muscles, those biceps muscles, even as we're lengthening them. So we're doing different types of muscle contraction here. We're getting some of the fibers to work a little bit differently. Keep breathing in and out, relaxing your neck and your jaw. And remember, you got 5 pounds in each hand, so that's a pretty significant amount of weight here. Okay, just a couple more. Great. And the next time you have your hands at your shoulders, we're going to pause here, and magically those 5 pounds turn to 10. So we're going to take those 10 pounds, we're going to push up overhead. Push up, 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 straighten your arms as much as you can, and then come all the way down. And as you come down, bring your elbows down toward the floor, right? So you've got these 10 pounds in each hand. So we're going up, nice and slow, push that 10 pounds up, and then come down. Now, if you're working with a shoulder injury or some limitation in your arm or your shoulder, just do the best you can. If your arm doesn't go all the way up overhead, that's okay. So we're just kind of working through this. Breathing in, breathing out. Excellent. One more time, all the way up and down. As you come down, I'm going to ask you to really squeeze your shoulder blades together. So squeeze those shoulder blades together, and then we're going to take these 10 pounds and we're going to extend the arms back and then bend the elbows. So keep your elbows lifted, right? And notice if you're starting to do this, right? So you're looking like the hood ornament on a car, right? Like you're going forward. So see if you can keep your chin tucked in a little bit. I don't think they have hood ornaments anymore, do they? No. I think we should bring that back. That's a cool look. Okay, we'll do just a couple more of these. So remember, you got 10 pounds in each hand, so it's pretty heavy. We're working those muscles, those triceps muscles. How about 2 more? Can we do 2 more? I think we can. All right. And then release that. Just kind of shake things out a little bit. Okay, so we've worked the fingers and the hands. We've worked the wrists and the elbows and the shoulders and the muscles in the arms, muscles in the shoulders, and we're going to do a little bit more complex movement that'll involve all of these things. So take your hands together like you're saying a prayer, right? And so what we're going to do is open the hands like you're reading a book. So your hands are like the book, right? The pages of the book. And now we're going to bring the backs of the hands together. As you bring the backs of the hands together, bring your fingers in toward yourself and then down toward the floor, out in front, and all the way back around to the little prayer hand thing, right? So we're going to do this a few times. So if you didn't quite get it the first time, don't worry. So we're going to start by opening the hands like you're reading a book, and then you're going to break the binding of that book, right? So you're going to fold the front and back covers together, fingers in, down, out, and around. And if you're already moving at a good clip, keep going, right? So we're just going to keep doing this little movement, right? So we open the book towards our face, right? See if you can keep the backs of the hands together all the way to the wrists as you come down, right? So this is getting some nice stretch here in the wrists. This is a movement I give to my clients who are computer users, who have wrist issues, hand issues, tightness in the arms. This is a good way to loosen that up. Now watch your breathing. Notice where you're holding it. Yeah. This should be feeling a little routine right now, right? So we kind of, oh yeah, this is feeling like a nice little routine here for the hands. So the next time your palms are together, let's pause here. Take a breath. All right, and we're just going to reverse this. So now instead of reading the book yourself, you're going to show me the book. So you're kind of pushing out. Bring your fingers forward, down, bring the backs of your hands together right at the wrists. Fingers come in, up, around, and back. Right? So we'll keep doing that. So the book is away from you. and we're going in, up, around, and back. And just keep going. So it's a nice, easy, gentle movement. Again, part of this is to get some movement at the wrists so that we're stretching the muscles that go from the arms into the hands. You have several muscles, a lot of muscles actually, that go from your arms into your hands. Keep breathing, and if you haven't been breathing, this would be a good time to start. And the next time that your palms come together, we're going to pause there. Okay. So now we've done the forward movement and we've done the reverse movement. Now we're going to mix it up a little bit. So let's open the book toward yourself again. And then we're going to bring the fingers in, down, around, up, back to the palm, and then show the book to me. Right? So we're reversing. Each time your palms come together, you're just reversing that movement. Yeah, and you probably have to think a little more now. So you're probably not breathing very much right now. So see if you can breathe. Okay. And for those of you who feel like you got this, this is so easy, go faster. And for those who are still confused, just keep going. It doesn't matter. Just don't stop, Teresa. Just don't stop. Just a couple more, right? Make it a little fun. Excellent. How about the next time your palms come together, we call it good. Shake that out a little bit. All right, so you get a little mental stuff in there along with the movement of the hands. And when we're doing this, you guys, did you notice that everything all the way up has to get involved? So it's not just your hands and your wrists, your elbows, your upper arms, your shoulders. You have to make these weird movements in order to get the hands to do those things. So it's a nice way to kind of engage all of the upper extremities in a gentle way. So let's shift gears. We're going to go right down to the feet. Extend your right leg. Have your heel on the floor. And then squeeze and extend the toes. So what I'm doing is this. I have my socks on, so you can't see, but just kind of doing the same thing at my foot that I was doing at my hand. And notice how your toes are working here. And then let's point and flex the foot. So this is just like we were doing with the wrist, right? So that same movement. Upper body and lower body. So many similarities. Lots of bones in the hands, lots of bones in the feet. Muscles that control the hand are in the arm. Muscles that control the foot are in the leg. So let's start to circle at the ankle. So again, same kind of movement like we did with the wrist. And reverse direction. Good. And then heel comes down to the floor. So just like we bent the elbow and did that little movement, we're going to bend the knee, coming in and out, in and out. Watch your posture. If you're starting to slump a little bit, you might bring your hands right alongside your body. Just gives you a little reminder that your spine is nice and tall. Great. Okay, let's put that foot down on the floor for a moment. And now what we're going to do, bring the feet a little bit farther apart. And then we're going to lift the right leg and see if you can make a big circle with your knee like this. Right? So you're making a big circle with the knee. Yeah. Good. And then reverse direction. Now if this is like creating some issue with your back, you can lean back a little bit. That'll help get your leg up a little bit higher if you lean back. Everybody breathing? All right, foot comes down to the floor. So now instead of doing just a circle, we're going to do a figure 8, right? So see if you can make an 8 with your knee, right? So if your knee is bent, I'm doing a reverse 8 up here. Anybody else doing a reverse 8? Yeah, that's weird, huh? Why did we do that? All right, now so reverse your 8. So if you were going forward, now you're going backwards. And those of us who started backwards, we're going forwards. Are you breathing? The minimal amount. All right, and then put that foot on the floor and just let the leg go in and out a couple times. That's like shaking out the arm a little bit. All right, let's go right into the other side. So extend your left leg, heel on the floor. Start with the toes, squeezing and extending. So again, this is what I'm doing. with my foot. Notice if these toes work a little differently, if they work the same. And then point and flex. Good, so we got a little ankle music out there. So that's just like this business with the wrist on this side. Wrists and ankles, kind of the same setup. Two bones go into a bunch of bones. Two bones go into a bunch of bones. And then circle around at the ankle. Good. And reverse direction, maybe more noise in there, maybe less noise. All right, and then heel comes down to the floor. We're going to work that knee a little bit. So bending and extending. Have your hands right alongside your hips, if that helps to just remind you that your spine is up nice and tall. Good. Using your belly muscles. I didn't mention that before, but if you use your belly muscles a little bit, that supports your back too. So just a couple more. All right, and then let's put that foot right down on the floor, and then bringing the feet a little bit farther apart. So we can start with circles for the hip. So again, just kind of making a nice big circle. If you think about your knee as the pencil, right? So you're drawing with your knee, making a big circle, reverse direction. Keep breathing. Good, and let's bring that foot back down to the floor. Okay, give it a rest for just a breath. And then we're going to do a figure 8 on this side. So when you're ready, make your figure 8. Yeah. And see if you can really make some movement here at the hip, right? So your foot kind of goes in and then out. And notice if you went in the reverse on this side, and then switch it up, go the other way. And notice how heavy your leg is, right? Whew, mama, that's really heavy. All right, and then let's bring that down to the floor. Let the leg just go in and out. Okay. All right. So we're not going to do this with the feet. I know you're disappointed, but we're not going to try that. Maybe at some point we'll try that, but not today. I feel like we would all end up on the floor. So we've done a lot of work now for the toes, the foot, the ankle, the lower leg, the knee, the hip, the upper leg. So we've gotten all of the extremities, and now we're going to work a little bit for the spine. So I haven't done this in several weeks now, our 6 movements of the spine. Some of you remember that. So there are many different movements we can make with our spine, but there are 6 that are sort of essential, right? So the first 2, I'm going to give them in pairs. So the first 2 are flexion and extension. And flexion is simply bending forward. So we're going to take the chin down toward the chest, and then the nose down toward the navel, so you can feel the upper part of your back, and then see if you can curl forward a little bit more, like you're bringing your forehead down to the floor. Have your hands on your thighs just to give you a little bit of support. And then press into your hands and come all the way up. So it's like you're curling forward. And again, we've got a little support here with the hands, pushing the hands into the thighs. So we're going to do that flexion again. So think of flexion forward, right? So flexion forward, that's a good way to remember it. So bring your chin to your chest, your nose to your navel, and then your forehead down toward the floor. And then press into your hands, come all the way up. And how about we do that one more time as we breathe, right? So chin to chest, nose to navel, forehead to floor, and then press all the way up. So that's flexion. The second is extension. Extension is just the opposite of flexion. So if you think about your spine, turn sideways, so your spine is kind of rounding forward like a shrimp, right? How a shrimp kind of goes forward. So in extension, we want to get all of those segments of the spine back. So we're going to start, I don't like to have the chin way up because you have a lot of movement here in your cervical spine, in your neck. So instead of lifting with the chin, we're going to press forward with the collarbones, right? So you feel your 2 collarbones up here. Can you feel where they come together? There should be 2 little bumps right there. So you want to press that part of your chest forward, right? So press that part of your chest forward, and I'm sideways so you can see this. And then we're going to bring the elbows back. So we're doing the opposite here. And then lift your tailbone. So you can see that this is the forward rounding, and this is the backward. So this is extension, right? Okay, so let's do that several times, extension. So breathing in and out, we're going to press those collarbones forward, draw the shoulder blades back, really arch the back, and then come back to sort of a neutral spine. So breathing in and out, we're doing extension and then relaxing, right? So resist the urge right now to go into flexion, right? Because after we do this, we want to do this. But see if you can keep yourself sort of in a neutral position. We're just going forward and back a few times, right? Breathing in and out. Great. How about one more time? Excellent. Okay, relax a little bit. So flexion and extension, forward bending and then extending backwards. We spend a lot of our time in flexion, right? So think about that, right? You're at your computer, you're on your phone, you're cooking, you're driving. Think about all the things we do where we're flexing forward. We spend very little time in extension. That's why a lot of us end up with this kind of posture. This is, we get short in the back of the neck because the shoulders come forward, and then in order to not fall on the ground, right? Because if I do this, I'm just looking at the ground. In order to see where I'm going, I've got to bring my head up. So I end up with real shortness in the back of my neck. I can end up with, all kinds of things like pinched nerve, blood vessels get a little bit pinched, tightness in the neck, have some difficulty swallowing. It can affect your sinuses. So coming into extension is a good way to counter that flexion. So think about all the hours that you might spend in flexion, and then see if for every hour that you spend in flexion, you can spend 5 minutes in extension. That's a long time. And it's nowhere near enough to counter it completely, but it's helpful. Okay, so those are just the first 2 movements of the spine. The second 2 movements of the spine are also flexion and extension, but in the sidewards plane, right? So when we lean to the right, so if you take your right ear to your right shoulder, and then take your right shoulder down toward your right hip, can you feel the left side of your body gets a little stretch, and the right side of your body is a little contracted, right? Now come on up. And then we're going to take the left ear to the left shoulder, and then the left shoulder down toward the left hip. So now you should feel on the right side a nice stretch, and on the left side a little compression, and then come back up. Okay, so when we move to the right, bringing that right ear to the shoulder, so come on with me, we're going to lean to the right. We are flexing to the right and extending on the left. As we come up, we're going back to a neutral position, and then we take the left ear to the left shoulder to the left hip. We are now flexing on the left and extending on the right, and then come all the way up. Okay, does that make sense? So when we flex, anytime we're in flexion, we're bringing 2 points closer together. So this is flexion, and this is flexion. And this is extension, and this is extension on this side, right? So when we're extending, we're bringing things farther away. When we're flexing, we're bringing things closer together. Again, if you think about our movement, we spend a lot more time in flexion, right? I'm hanging out. I'm not paying attention. I'm in serious flexion on this side of my body. What do you think is happening on this side? There's all this muscle contraction to hold me in that position. And then when I go to straighten up, everything is a little bit creaky and it doesn't feel quite right. So exploring flexion and extension on both sides of the body is important to do. Okay, so that's 4 movements. So we've done the first 2, flexion and extension, the second 2, flexion and extension, and then the last 2 movements are a rotational movement. So if you think about your spine, right, you have your vertebrae, right, and then you have all kinds of little muscles along your spine. Some of the muscles make you do flexion, some of the muscles make you do extension, and that goes for the side bending as well. And then you have these really cool muscles that kind of crisscross between the spines, and those are the muscles that make you rotate, right? I love the name of these muscles too. They're rotatories. Sounds like Italian pasta to me, right? So I've never forgotten that. So your rotator muscles help you turn your spine. So what we're going to do here is make sure first that we have a nice length in the spine, because if we try and rotate when we're in this kind of flexed position, we don't necessarily have enough space in there for all those little nerves and blood vessels to have room when we make those turns. So we can end up pinching something or just having a little bit of a crick. So with your spine nice and tall, we're going to start with the head. And I just want you to think about this. The little rotatories, right? Those little rotator muscles are helping to turn. So we're just going to turn the head, the neck, the shoulders. Let's get the upper back in there. Keep twisting as far around as you can. Imagine you could twist so far around that you could see the person behind you. And breathe at the same time. And then come back around, nice and slow. And that's the other thing that's really important here when we talk about rotation. It's about moving slowly. So turn to the left, keep breathing in and out. So your head, your neck, your shoulders, your mid-back, low back, and then coming back around. So again, nice and slow. We're just going to go from side to side and breathe. Breathing in, breathing out. So when we have a really nice relaxed breath, that signals the body and the brain that everything is fine. There's no need to stress. When we breathe shallowly, quickly, that's our stress response. That's the brain's message that things are not okay, and I gotta either hightail it out of here, or I gotta put my gloves on. Not warmth gloves, but fighting gloves. So we're kind of going from side to side. And as you're doing this, I want you to notice as you're turning from side to side, couple things. Are you sliding your backside on the chair? If you are, see if you can keep your backside from moving on the chair. And then also notice, do you have greater range going in one direction than the other? And typically the answer to that is yes. We generally have an easier time turning in one direction than the other. And how about just one more on each side? Everybody's doing great. Your spine's nice and tall. We're getting those little pastas turning in the spine. And then coming back to center. Excellent. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a breath in, let it out with a sigh. And take a moment just to kind of review mentally all the movements you did with your fingers and your hands, your wrists and your arms, your elbows, your upper arms and shoulders. Now we move to the toes and the feet, the ankles and the lower legs, the knees, the upper legs, the hips, and then we did flexion and extension with the spine. So we got to the trunk, the moving forward, the moving backward, the bending from side to side, and then the twisting. And let your eyes open. So all of those movements, really simple, really gentle movements that you can do during the day. And you don't necessarily have to do them all at the same time, right? So people will sometimes say to me, oh, I really should be doing this, but I don't have a half hour to sit and do that. Pick 2 movements and just do 2 movements. And then maybe this afternoon or tomorrow, pick another 2 movements and do another 2 movements. So that over the course of 4 or 5 days, you're doing all of those movements. So at the end of that 4 or 5 days, you've gone through it. And that can be a little bit more manageable, I think, for a lot of folks to do. Okay, let's take this a little bit farther. So we're going to scoot over to the right side of the chair, and you can hold on to the left side. Just make sure you don't fall off the edge of the chair. We're going to take that right foot and using the heel and the toes, walk the foot out, and then walk it back. So see if you can keep your torso facing forward so it's kind of in line with your left knee, and we're just moving that leg out. So this is another movement that is available at the hip, and the hip is just an amazing joint, right? The hip is incredible. So we can bring that leg all the way out. Let's bring it out, and we're going to hang out there. I hope that's somebody's shoe. It's your shoe. Okay, good. If that were a hip, whew. It's strong. Okay, her artillery is strong. Good, I love that. Okay, we're going to bring that knee forward and back, right? So forward and back. And notice that forward is a little easier, right? When you go back, you've got to engage the muscles in the outer part of that hip, right? That's what keeps the artillery strong, is engaging those muscles back there. And the next time that you're pulling the knee back toward the wall behind you, you're going to hold that knee back there. So keep pulling it back, pulling it back. And then let's take the right hand, press it to the inside of the knee or the inside of the thigh, wherever you can reach comfortably. We're just going to press into that and turn to the left. So breathe in, breathe out. So we're doing a more complex movement here, right? Little more complex movement. Nice full breaths in and out. Keep pulling the knee toward the wall behind you. Keep pressing your hand into the inside of that leg. Keep twisting your upper body to the left and keep breathing. And then slowly unwind your torso. Good. We're going to relax the hand and the leg and we're going to extend the leg out. Now if you need to scoot over a little bit more on your chair, go ahead and do that. You're going to keep your body facing forward. Press out through your heel and lift your toes toward your shin. Right? So it's like you're trying to make this leg as long as it will go. And then notice if these muscles up here, your quadriceps muscles, if they're nice and strong, you want to make those muscles nice and tight against the bone. We're going to take the right hand down that right thigh. You're going to hold on to the left side here. And then we're going to lean all the way to the left, keeping the arm in a nice straight line with that leg. Okay? So keep your shoulder open. Good. Couple more. So we're just leaning over to the side. Keep reaching out through that heel. Good. Okay. And now the next time that you come up, we're going to take this right hand to the shoulder. We're going to keep that shoulder open and lean into the left side. Go a little higher, like you can get your elbow way up to the ceiling, and then come all the way back. So you might notice that you're moving over to the left a little bit more. Keep that right leg active and strong. So the muscles are really nice and strong against the bone there. Great. One more time. So we're doing, can you feel the flexion and extension in your body? Isn't it amazing once you know what the movement is, how you can go, oh, that's flexion, that's extension. All right, one more time. Great. Breathing in, breathing out. Excellent. Okay, relax that. Relax your knee, give it a bend, and get your heel directly underneath your knee. So we're still trying to pull the knee a little bit toward the back wall. In other words, you don't want to let your leg be completely relaxed. You want to have that knee as active as it can be. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take this right hand to the thigh and then see if you can lean over into your elbow and forearm and keep your left shoulder open. You got that? And then we're going to come back up. So we're going to do that a few times. Now if it's a little tough to just lean into the arm, you can use your hand here because you can press into your hand to help yourself up. If you're having issues in your back or your ribs, this would be a good way to go. Okay, just a couple more. Great. And the next time that you're over there, we're going to stay there. So now if you've got your hand on your thigh and you want to go down to your elbow and forearm, you can do that. Breathe in, breathe out. Now, can you keep your elbow or your hand on your leg and let your spine get a little longer? So can you feel your spine get nice and long when you engage? And breathe in, breathe out. Take your left hand to your left shoulder. We're going to roll that shoulder open. So go back as far as you can. See if you can twist your spine a little bit. Breathing in, breathing out. We're going to bring this elbow down like we could put it right in the palm of that right hand. And then come all the way up. So breathing in and breathing out, right? So keep the weight on that arm. In other words, don't lift your body up off of that leg. We're keeping the weight of the body right down on that leg. We're twisting at the spine. So we've got that rotation, right? So can you feel the rotation in your spine, even as you're in flexion? It's kind of an interesting thing. One more time. We're going to bring the elbow down and we're going to bring it up. Great. Okay, now instead of coming straight up, we're going to take this hand, this left hand, over to the left thigh. So we're still leaning to the right, right? You guys haven't come back up yet. And now we're going to come forward, and as you come forward, roll over to that left side, push into your left hand, and come all the way up. Okay, so just to show you what that looked like again, if I'm over here, if I come up out of this, I might actually overcompensate a little bit with these muscles. So a nice way to do this is to come forward, to roll forward, press into the hand, and come up. So if you think about how you're moving in your daily life, anytime you can support yourself when you're in a twisted position is going to be beneficial for your spine. Okay, let's take that right foot. We're going to walk it forward and around. We're going to scoot all the way over to the left side of the chair now. Okay, so left side of the chair, we're going to hold on to the right side and use your heel and your toes, walk that foot out and then walk it back. So just a few times so we can get that sense of movement in the hip, right? So your hip does all these fun things. Your hip does flexion and extension. It moves forward and backward. It does something called abduction, which is moving the leg away from the other leg, which is when we're walking the foot out, right? This is abduction. And then adduction, when we move the leg back. Good. And the next time you're out there with your foot, so you've got your feet far away from one another, we're going to hold that there. Okay. Pull your left knee toward the wall behind you, and then let it relax. So pull the knee back and relax, just so you get a sense of how you're engaging those muscles in the outer part of the hip. Right? And now pull that knee toward the wall behind you and hold it there. Take your left hand, place it on the inside of your thigh or down at your knee. So some people, the length of the arm, you can get your hand like all the way down without leaning over. Others, if our arms are a little shorter, maybe it's up here on the thigh a little bit. So it doesn't matter. That's just how your anatomy is formed. So that's absolutely fine. So we're just pressing the hand into the knee, and we're pulling the knee toward the wall behind us. And then we're going to twist the upper body to the right. And breathe in and breathe out. So staying active and engaged here. So again, we've got some rotation happening. You can feel that in your spine, hopefully. We've got some engagement of those muscles in the hip. Keep all that hardware from slipping around in there. And then slowly unwind, come all the way back. Excellent. Let's extend that knee and have the heel on the floor, toes lifted toward your shin, and activate these thigh muscles here. So your quadriceps muscles on this side. The quadriceps muscles are so important for knee health and for mobility. With strong quadriceps muscles, going up and down stairs is easier. Getting in and out of the car, up and down from the chair, on and off the toilet, all the things that we need to do in our daily lives. So without strong quadriceps muscles, those things become really challenging to do. Okay, so we're going to take the right hand to the chair, left hand here on your thigh, and we're just going to start by leaning into that right side. So we have flexion on the right, extension on the left, right? We got extra anatomy today, extra anatomy lesson today. There'll be a test at the end, flexion and extension, breathing in, breathing out. Excellent. How about one more time? Just sort of leaning to the side. Great. Okay, now we're going to take that left hand, place it on the shoulder. Make sure the shoulder stays open, right? And we're going to lean into that right side. See if you can lean a little bit more. Lift the elbow up toward the ceiling. And then come all the way back up. Let's do that a few times. So breathing in, breathing out. So now hopefully you're feeling the extension on the left side a little more than you're feeling the flexion on the right side. Or said a different way, you're feeling a stretch on that left side more than you're feeling compression on the right side. Just a couple more. That looks great. Make sure the breath is smooth and easy. Great. And last one. Excellent. Coming all the way up, we're going to bend this left knee, and then we're going to release that right hand. Breathing in, breathing out. We're going to take the left hand here, and then just lean into that left side a little bit. and then come up, right? So we're just leaning and coming up. So where we were feeling a stretch before on the left side, now we're feeling a little compression on the left side. So we're flexing to the left and extending to the right. So the next time that you come over to that left side, we're going to stay here. See if you can slide down onto your elbow and forearm and turn your palm up. If that doesn't work for you, you can keep your hand here. But the thing I want to make sure you don't do is lift your body up off of the leg. So we're really working to support the body. Now with your arm here on your leg, lengthen your spine. So get nice and tall. Wow, that's amazing how that happens, right? So you're nice and tall in your spine. We're going to take the right hand to the right shoulder. Open that shoulder up. Take a nice deep breath in. And then as you exhale, come forward like you could bring your elbow down into the palm of that hand. And then come all the way up. So remember, your spine stays long, right? So as soon as you start to feel like you're getting like a little shrimp, you know, kind of curling forward, see if you can keep your spine nice and long. Breathe in, breathe out. So we're doing this rotation. We're in flexion on the left side. We're in extension on the right side, right? So we have just the most amazing, complex biomechanical movements. It's miraculous, some of the things that we can do with our bodies. How about one more time? Down and up. Okay, now stay in that leaning position over to the left. Remember, we're not coming up quite yet. We're going to take that right hand down to the thigh. Now kind of roll forward a little bit. Shift your weight into that right side. Push into your right hand and come all the way up. And then we're going to walk or slide that foot back around. Come back to the front. Let your hands rest on your thighs. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a breath in, let it out with a sigh. So let's just explore mentally the movements that we just did. So moving over to the side, engaging the muscles in the outer part of the hip as you were pulling your knee toward the wall behind you. Notice if you can still feel a little bit of the echo of that movement in the right side and left side. And then the leaning, we leaned to the left. Brought the elbow up, tried to reach the elbow toward the ceiling, get a little bit more of an extensive feeling on that right side. And then the rotation that we did as we were leaning into the right side, getting the left elbow down toward the palm of the hand. And the same thing when we went to the left side, so pulling that knee toward the wall behind you. The effort in the muscles around the back side of the hip. The extension as we leaned into that side. The rotation as we brought the elbow closer to the palm of the hand. So just notice what your spine feels like right now, your shoulders, your neck. Notice your low back, your hips, your legs. Take a breath in, let it out with a sigh, and let your eyes gently open. Good. Okay, so from here, let's take the right leg. We're going to cross it over the left. So if crossing your knees, or crossing at your knees is not available to you, you can keep your legs crossed at the ankle. That's fine too. So I'm going to demonstrate with the knees crossed. And then once again, just checking in with the spine, making sure your spine is up nice and tall. Breathing in, breathing out, thinking about all the movements that are available in your spine, all the movements that are available in your arms and your hands. We're going to take the arms out to the sides. Breathe in, breathe out. Now squeeze your inner thighs together, and as you do, see if you can get a little taller in your chair. So even if you're crossed here at the ankle, you can still squeeze those inner thighs together. So you've got your right knee crossed on top of your left. We're going to take the right elbow and cross it on top of the left elbow. So remember what I was saying about arms and legs being the same? Elbows and knees, right? So they're kind of the same thing. So we're going to bend the elbows like you're going to bring your palms to your face, right? And maybe you can get your palms up to your face. And if you can do that easily, and you'd like, see if you can get your palms together, or at least in some semblance of together, right? Somewhere around there. So again, part of this is the anatomy in your arms. If your arm bones don't allow for that to happen, that's okay. If this is not available, just put your hands on your shoulders. That works too, right? Breathe in, breathe out. Now as you're breathing in and breathing out, and you're in this position, whatever that position looks like for you, where do you feel movement in your body? So you don't likely feel a lot of movement in the front of your body as you inhale and exhale. You're going to feel a little more in the back of the body. So see if you can breathe into that space that's open to you in the back of your body. Close your eyes if that's comfortable. If that feels a little too weird because your body's in this position, just see if you can draw your gaze in maybe toward your hands. Breathing in, breathing out. Nice full deep breaths. Feel the rise and fall in the back of the body. And then slowly release your hands, unwrap your arms and elbows, bring your arms down. Let's uncross the legs, and we're going to recross the other way. So we've got left on top of right. And again, this is the modification for those for whom that is not available. We're just going to cross the legs here and give a little squeeze to the inner thighs. And as you give a squeeze to the inner thighs, feel your spine get a little bit taller. Breathing in, breathing out, take your arms out to the sides once again. So notice if you bring your arms out to the sides by lifting your shoulders way up to your ears, drop your shoulders down. So this is movement that the arms can do without an assist. And then we're going to take the arms and cross left elbow on top of right elbow. Oops. Okay, so we have left on top of right, and then we're going to bend the elbows again, like you can bring your hands up toward your face. You might bring them to your shoulders. If you've got that movement available, you might bring your palms closer together. So the goal here is to cross at the elbows if we can. So even if your arms are out here, this is the best place for you to be. You can close your eyes or drop your gaze down. Breathing in and out, notice where you feel movement. Once again, probably not in the front of your body. You're probably going to feel movement in the back of your body. And where in the back of your body? And how does that movement present itself? Do you feel the movement expanding out toward the back, or do you feel the movement expanding kind of side to side, so kind of left to right? Do you feel your spine getting taller as you breathe in? Do you feel your body relaxing a little as you breathe out? Let your breath be long, slow, and deep. And then slowly let go with your hands. Release your elbows and your arms. Let them come down. Uncross your legs. Bring your hands to your lap. Take a moment just to notice your upper back, your shoulders, your legs, your hips. Just notice what you feel. Breathing in and breathing out. Where do you feel movement? Is the movement equal right to left? Is it balanced between the front and back of your body? Is the movement of your breath fast or slow? Is there more depth to your breathing right now? Let's take in a breath, let it out with a sigh. Okay, so I want to, we'll do a little bit of meditation, but I also want to teach you a breathing technique that maybe some of you know already and maybe some of you don't. It's called bamboo breathing. Bamboo breathing is, you know what bamboo looks like? The plant, right? The stalk of bamboo. It's got like a long part, and then there's like these little segments, right? These little joints. Right? So it's these little joints. So with bamboo breathing, what we do is we breathe in like one full breath, and then we breathe out like we're breathing out in segments. Right? So it kind of looks like this. So anytime you want to join in, let's do that. So just think about it. You can close your eyes if that's more comfortable. Breathing in, you breathe in all at once, and then you breathe out in segments like bamboo. I like to picture a big piece of bamboo. And if it's difficult to breathe out in those segments through your nose, you can also do it through your mouth, and I'll show you that as well. So continuing to do this bamboo breathing in and out through your nose if possible. In through your nose and out through your mouth if that's a little easier. One long, slow inhalation followed by that segmented exhalation. That's the bamboo part of it. And as you're doing your exhalations, your bamboo exhalations, see if you can exhale all the breath. So you might have to come down to that last segment where you're exhaling and really pull your belly in order to get that last little bit of breath out. And it doesn't matter how many segments you do. So you might do 2 or 3 segments. You might do 5 segments. What matters is that as you get to the bottom of that segmented exhalation, you've pressed out all the breath. And over the next breath or two, release that bamboo breathing and just go back to your natural breath. Just feel the air moving in and out of your body. No segments, no controlling the breath, no need to make it deeper, slower. It's just your breath, just the way it is. And notice the quality of your natural breath. How the air moves in and out through your nostrils. Is it equal on the right side and left side? Notice the temperature of the air that you're breathing in and the temperature of the air that you're breathing out. And notice if your body can relax into the breath or if you're holding unconscious tension somewhere, maybe in the shoulders or the neck, the jaw, the face, the hands. Let the breath do the work of breathing in and out. Your body is just along for the ride. And then taking your hands up to your chest, breathe in and out to the space underneath your hands so that you can feel your hands moving, rising and falling as your chest rises and falls. And bring the palms of your hands together. And take a moment in gratitude to your breath, because without your breath there is nothing else. Your breath is the foundation for everything. Let's take in one more breath together, let it out with a sigh. If you'd like, you might open your eyes and just acknowledge all these wonderful people around the room and the space. Wow. So you're welcome. So see you all next week. So that'll be our last week until the new year. I know, right? Yeah. So next week it is. It's a more calming breath. That's a really good question. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, it's a very good way to calm yourself down is with that. Yeah, awesome. All right. That's your homework, guys. Do some bamboo breathing.